Will, because there will be 24 people sitting in luxury in Canberra in marble palaces having the great lifestyle forever, by the way. They won't be out. They'll be in there forever. And they'll be ruling the roost. And if you happen to be an Indigenous person who disagrees with the decisions they're making, bad luck, because that is your voice. You don't get a Democratic voice. You get their voice. You get 24 people on massive salaries sitting in Canberra making decisions for you for the rest of your life. That is what we are condemning Indigenous Australians to. As white Australia, immigrant Australia, non-Indigenous Australia has to stand up and recognise we are condemning these people to socialism and communism on steroids, our fellow Australians. We are condemning them to a life of misery under a bureaucratic quango wherever that has taken place, anywhere in the world, Eastern Europe, Asia. These things end up in tyranny. That is what we are condemning young Indigenous Australians to. Tyranny to some quango of elders sitting in Canberra in marble palaces. It's a disgrace. Vote no, because that is the right and moral thing to do for Indigenous Australians, James.
Well, it's not just for Indigenous Australians, Rowan. I mean, I think the other point that really needs to be made, and I think to explain to soft yes voters, is to say that, you know, even the biggest supporters of the voice, Greg Craven, Megan Davis, admit that this is going to be, as constituted, a voice that will have a say on and will have to be consulted on things not just about Indigenous affairs and Indigenous lifestyles and, you know, how people in Indigenous communities live, but actually on every major piece of policy all across the entire gamut. Greg Craven has said it can talk to anything from parking fines to submarines. All right, he said that on the radio a couple of weeks ago, and yet he still says he's going to vote for it. Well, I think Australians are going to look at that and say, you know, I don't think so, because the real prospect is that you wind up with co-governance. You wind up with racial co-governance, and everywhere that has existed, it is a disaster.
That is the point. That's exactly
that's
the point.
The point.
Reduce the power of Parliament, increase the power of the quangos.
Because every policy area impacts Indigenous Australians. So, of course, whether it's submarines, whether it's parking fines, if you want to use the examples put forward there, of course it's going to impact Indigenous Australians. We've got to talk about here immigrants as well. This is something
100%.
Because the Labor
100%.
Party has been very clever. They've been going to all the religious leaders in the Muslim community, for example, and getting support from them. They're doing that also, I think, with the Jewish community. And the Liberal Party, again, been far too slow to speak to immigrants. We've got a country of immigrants who feel like this is their home, who feel like their children are entitled to call this land theirs as anybody else. They shouldn't be welcomed to their own country over and over again. And that is a sentiment that's there, it's underlying, it's strong, and the Liberals thus far have failed to tap into it.